Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And it's part 2 of our look at Elizabeth Olsen growing up into a superhero. You know her as Wanda from a lot of the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Of course, she did come from a famous family, right? Her older sisters, Mary, Kate, and Ashley Olsen, were child stars on their own. They had their show Full House, which was very popular back in the 90s. And this made Elizabeth Olsen a little worried about becoming famous, but she eventually did take on the role as an actress.
Do you know any other people who had famous celebrity siblings?
I think there's quite a few these days, right? There's a lot of children of famous actors and actresses who are now famous. Dakota Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, her father was Don Johnson, mother was Melanie Griffith, both big stars from the 70s and 80s. And, you know, I think Will Smith, his kids have tried to become...
Smith, yes.
Yeah, Jaden and Willow. They've both become actors and musicians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are many other examples. Are there some that you think really are really talented and maybe not just kind of using mom and dad's fame?
I actually really like Dakota Johnson.
Okay, I think she's one that's gotten some good
she's great.
Good reviews and things. Yeah.
And she manages to stay pretty down to earth.
That's interesting. That's a good point. I think the pressures of being famous today are so great that maybe it's good to have famous parents, right? Because they can kind of tell you what it's like to be a celebrity.
I think so. I think so.
For normal people, it can be difficult, and even for famous people, it can be difficult, as we learned about Elizabeth Olsen yesterday, when she wasn't sure she wanted to be famous. But she's taken it on. She's been making movies for over 10 years now. Let's find out more about her. Over the next few years, Olsen acted in several small but popular films. She made the jump to big-budget movies when she starred in 2014's Godzilla. That was followed by an appearance as Wanda Maximoff in Marvel's Avengers: Age of Ultron. Marvel is now a major part of Olsen's career. Audiences loved her acting so much that her character has already appeared in 5 movies and an award-winning TV series. All right, so we're back with Elizabeth Olsen. When we left her, she was finishing NYU, right? Did some acting in plays.
She'd done really well.
She did well, and then she made her first movie back in 2011, so just over 10 years ago. That's where we pick up the story. It says, over the next few years, Olsen acted in several small but popular films. When we talk about a small film, we might also say an independent film. It's made with little money. It doesn't have a lot of big stars or big special effects. Movies that young filmmakers or even students might make. It's a good way to get experience. And then we read she made the jump to big budget movies. That's the opposite of small films. Big budget movies.
Hollywood, blockbusters.
Big Hollywood action movies like the Marvel films. So she made the jump to big budget movies when she starred in 2014's Godzilla. I don't think I saw that one.
I don't think I saw that one either. But the Godzilla movies were very popular.
Yeah, sometimes.
Budget is money. So when we talk about a budget, it's an expense or money that you need for something. So this is something kind of professional, or it could be something that you calculate that's important to you. It's not just any sort of money, it's money for a specific purpose. So for example, I can have a grocery budget. That's how much money I want to spend on food in a week. Or I can have a food budget for Uber, so how much I would be spending in a month or something like that. Big companies have budgets for a year, a quarter, and movies have budgets. Big budget movies are Hollywood movies. These are the movies that we know, which are the Marvel, Godzilla, the ones that a lot of people put money into. And of course, if you have a small budget, that means you don't have a lot of money for something, but you want to make it happen anyway. Francine has a small budget for the party, so she will invite only a few people. So I don't really have that much money to spend, so maybe I'll ask only a few people to come. Maybe they can all bring some food.
But there won't be caviar and champagne.
No.
It'll probably be
no gifts,
potato
probably.
chips and cans of Coca-Cola.
Probably.
A lower budget, less money to spend on your project. All right, so she was in a big budget movie finally.
Yes, and that was followed by an appearance as Wanda Maximoff in Marvel's Avengers: Age of Ultron. Marvel is now a major part of Olsen's career, so that's huge. Godzilla can be huge, Marvel can almost always be huge, and these are really big budget movies which really made her famous. And if something is a big part of her career, that means she's gonna be Wanda in a lot of different movies, maybe for many, many years.
That's true. They kind of tie them up, these actors. They kind of get them signed up and then put them in lots of movies. She was in a lot of the Avengers movies. I think the Captain America Winter Soldier, she was in that. She's been doing a lot of stuff with Marvel, and it's been working. It's been popular. It says audiences loved her acting so much that her character has already appeared in 5 movies and an award-winning TV series.
Oh yeah, I heard Wanda had her own TV series.
I think that was WandaVision, which was also a very popular show. So there you go. Clearly, the audience really likes her. And when we talk about the audience, we're just talking about the people who are watching your performance. It could be live, a live audience watching, a music group play or watching actors acting in a play, or it could also be the people sitting in the dark in the movie theater, or you at home sitting on your sofa watching your favorite TV show or sports event or whatever on your TV, computer. If you're watching a performance, you are the audience. Notice though, we don't use this term usually for sports. For sports, we might call it the crowd or something like that. Audience is usually for artistic performances of some kind. For example, when the lights in the movie theater went out, the audience became quiet. Well, good. Audiences should be quiet.
All right, let's take a really quick break and we'll be back soon to hear more about Elizabeth Olsen.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 今天要继续介绍 Elizabeth Olsen， 伊丽莎白·欧森这一位知名演员。她在2011年主演了她的第一部电影，那么接下来几年是有演出几部小成本但是受欢迎的电影，然后2014年则跳到大成本制作的电影《哥吉拉》。那么接着呢，她在漫威系列当中饰演汪达，观众们很喜欢她的表演，以至于她的角色已经出现在5部电影，还有1部得奖的电视影集当中。我们刚刚说大成本制作的电影 ，Rainbow 老师用到 blockbuster。blockbuster 就可以表达非常成功的书或是电影。那么用来描述电影的时候，就像我们中文说的卖座巨片。再来看单字 budget， 它是指预算。Big budget 就可以表达预算很高，会花到很多钱的。那么例句写到说办派对的预算很少 ，Mike 老师开玩笑说，派对上面呢可能不会出现鱼子酱和香槟，只会有洋芋片和可乐吧。好，老师说的 caviar 就是鱼子酱 ，champagne 就表示香槟。下一个单字 audience 是指观众、听众。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看重点 ，so 加上形容词或副词，再搭配 that 子句，是表达如此怎么样，结果怎么样，太怎么样，以至于怎么样。那么 so 是当副词，后面可以接一个形容词或副词，我们就用 so 去强调某事物的程度，以至于造成了某个结果。那么 that 子句就是表达结果咯。我们就先来看看 so 接形容词的例句。The book was so interesting that I couldn't stop reading it. 那本书非常有趣，以至于我读到欲罢不能了。好，再来看看用 so 去接副词的例句。Jake laughed so hard that he fell off the chair. Jake 笑得很用力，结果就从这个椅子上摔下来了。接回课文中。
However, Olsen's success has not come without its challenges. Sometimes Olsen's anxiety disorder gets in her way. Simply being in a room with other people can set off a panic attack that causes her heart to race and hands to shake. She has since learned ways to help manage her anxiety and even co-written a children's book about the topic. Elizabeth Olsen has earned her success, but was also patient enough to wait until she was ready to handle the fame that comes with it. It's a trait that separates her from the character she plays on screen.
I feel patience is my superpower,
she says. Welcome back. So Elizabeth Olsen, she's in the Marvel movies, she's in the Marvel TV shows, she is Wanda Maximoff. She's a superhero.
She is.
Her life must be perfect and she must be a confident person who has no problems, right?
All the time.
Wrong, in fact. As we learn, even though you're famous, you can still have those things in your mind that we all have that stress you out and give you anxiety. It says, however, Olsen's success has not come without its challenges. In other words, the road to success for her hasn't been totally smooth. She's had to face real problems like everyone does. It says sometimes Olsen's anxiety disorder gets in her way. This anxiety disorder is kind of stress that's created in your head and you feel nervous for maybe no really good reason. There's just certain situations in your life and you're like, I don't like this, and you start to sweat and your heart starts to beat fast and you just want to get out of there. Even though there's no real danger, your brain is saying, I don't like this. Here's an example of how it affects her. Simply being in a room with other people can set off a panic attack that causes her heart to race and her hands to shake. So that's a good example of this anxiety. You get a panic attack. All of a sudden, you feel like this is not good. I don't want to be here. I'm really not happy. And your body is kind of stressing out in a way that's really not normal, but you can't control it. It's just what happens sometimes to your emotions.
However, she does have some tools. It says she has since learned ways to help manage her anxiety and even co-written a children's book about the topic.
That's a nice idea.
So I think, she probably developed this from having really famous sisters at such a young age and seeing all of that. Maybe it just reminds her of this. Even though she's an adult and she's successful, she still feels these feelings of panic. So when somebody feels panic, it means suddenly you're so scared you can't control it, you can't breathe, your heart starts to beat really fast and you're freaking out and you don't know what to do. So panic often looks like sweating. You could be like, I have to get out of here. You could maybe fall down because you can't breathe, and you could be screaming or yelling if it's in a crowd. I have a sentence for you. The bomb warning caused panic at the airport. So someone said there's a bomb and everybody's screaming and hiding and shouting and scared, and people have to come in to control the crowd. Just like Elizabeth has to control the panic feelings in her body.
Of course, if you're famous, you have a lot of pressure, so that might cause anxiety and panic attacks, but they can actually affect anyone at any stage in life, no matter who you are. You don't have to be famous. Or who you're with.
You could be anywhere.
Or anything like that. It's a problem that a lot of people deal with. And like Elizabeth Olsen, learning how to breathe slowly, how to notice this is happening, how to kind of control it before it starts to control you, that's a way that people can learn to live with these problems. It says Elizabeth Olsen has earned her success, but was also patient enough to wait until she was ready to handle the fame that comes with it. That's right, her sisters were famous when they were 4 or 5 years old. She noticed that, but she decided to wait much longer. She still became successful, but she kind of did it in her own way, in her own time. Good for her.
Yeah, it's a trait that separates her from the character she plays on screen. I feel patience is my superpower, she says. So there's a contrast between who she was in the Marvel movies, which is Wanda, a person who never waits, a person who wants something right now. She's very fiery, she's very passionate, she's very, very immediate in everything that she does. But what's different about Elizabeth in real life is that she is very patient.
Absolutely. And we had this word separate. It's what separates her from others. When we separate things, we take things that could be together, could actually be joined together, and we take them apart. We make them from one into two things. In a way, if you cut bread, you're kind of separating a piece of bread from another thing, but these might be things that are joined together. Maybe think of a train and how the different cars are all attached. Well, when the train gets to the station, they might separate part of the train. It was joined, now it is apart. When we separate things in our world or in life, we also might be looking at them and seeing how they're different. These ones are different from those ones. If you're washing your clothes, you'll probably separate the clean clothes from the dirty clothes, or the colored clothes from the white clothes. And you definitely want to separate your socks, otherwise you'll wear socks that are all different colors. Separate the ones that don't match and then put them with their proper neighbor. For example, years of experience separates Dana from her coworkers. She has 15 years experience. Most of them just have 1 or 2. So that definitely puts her in a different category or separates her.
And we also have this word which describes Elizabeth, which is patience. This is a noun. If somebody is patient with a T, that would be an adjective. So patience is when somebody is not rushed, is slow, will wait for the right time to do something. So if a person is very patient, they won't ask for something right now. They'll say, you can give that to me when you're ready. If a child is patient, they probably wouldn't take all of the candy. They wait until other people have some and they'll get some first. And patience is an important quality in life because there is a phrase that says, good things come to those who wait. So patience is all about waiting, and when you get that waiting time, then maybe something good will come to you. A sentence for you is people need patience and a good sense of humor to work with children. Yes, because children are often crying, they get angry, they get emotional, and if you just yell at them, then you're not a very patient person, but it often takes time to really teach children. And we are done with the article about Elizabeth Olsen, and now we have a what do you think question.
That's right. So here it is. What lesson can be learned from the example set by Elizabeth Olsen?
I think that her story can teach us that not everything is good when you have it too early in life. Sometimes when you wait a bit for something such as fame, your life path will still come to you, and maybe you can deal with it in a better way that's good for your mental health and your emotions. And I also learned that you don't have to be the same as other people, even if those people are your siblings. You can have your life your own way if you just follow your own path and be okay with being different from others.
There you go. So thanks for joining us and learning about Elizabeth Olsen. We'll be looking for her in the movie theaters, and we'll be looking for you guys back here soon for more great articles. Until then, bye-bye.
欧森的成功并非一帆风顺，那有时候呢，他的焦虑症会对他造成妨碍，光是跟其他人共处一室，就有可能引发恐慌，造成他心跳加快、双手颤抖。那么之后呢，他有学会帮助掌控焦虑的方法，甚至还跟别人合写了一本关于这个主题的童书。文中写到这个 anxiety disorder 就表示焦虑症 ，anxiety 就是焦虑，那么 disorder 可以表达身体机能的失调或者是疾病。还有用到片语 get in one's way， 则是表达对某人造成阻碍、造成干扰。我们再来看单字 panic， 当名词，它是指恐慌、惊慌失措。那么 Rainbow 老师这时候用到 freak out，freak 是拼作 F-R-E-A-K，freak out 表示吓到、吓坏了。好，那么课文最后提到说，欧森获得了成功，那他是有足够的耐心，等到自己准备好去处理随之而来的名气。他自己就觉得耐性是他的超能力，而这个特征呢，就让欧森跟他饰演的角色有所不同啦。Rainbow 老师刚刚就提到，他就用到这个 fiery 跟 passionate 去描述汪达这个角色。同学们如果看电影就会知道，那么 fiery 是拼作 F-I-E-R-Y， 它是表达充满激情的、激烈的或是如火一般的。那么 passionate 就是在 passion 热情后面加上 ate 构成这个形容词，表示热情的、激昂的、热烈的。我们再来看课文单字 separate。这个动词表示使有别于什么，使什么不同。我们常常用 separate A from B 去表达使 A 与 B 不同。那么 patience 是名词，表示耐心，它的形容词是 patient， 就是有耐心的。这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。 好，我们来看片语动词 set off 的常见用法。第一种呢是当及物用，用来指引发、激起，像是可能引起这个某个活动啊，或者是一系列的事件。举例来说 ，The video set off a series of parodies。那支影片引发了一系列的滑稽模仿作品。那么这边我们用到 parody 或是念作 parody， 它就表示滑稽模仿作品。好，再看到第二个用法呢，是用 set off 去表达触发或是引爆，像是触发警报器啊、引爆炸弹等等。例如 ，She accidentally set off the car alarm。她不小心触发了汽车警报器了。那么第三种呢，是用 set off 当不及物用法来指出发、启程。那么后面就会常常接 on 或者是 for 再接名词，像是 They set off on an adventure to find treasure。他们展开寻宝的冒险之旅。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Over the next few years, Olsen acted in several small but popular films. She made the jump to big-budget movies when she starred in 2014's Godzilla. That was followed by an appearance as Wanda Maximoff in Marvel's Avengers: Age of Ultron. Marvel is now a major part of Olsen's career. Audiences loved her acting so much that her character has already appeared in 5 movies and an award-winning TV series. However, Olsen's success has not come without its challenges. Sometimes Olsen's anxiety disorder gets in her way. Simply being in a room with other people can set off a panic attack that causes her heart to race and hands to shake. She has since learned ways to help manage her anxiety and even co-written a children's book about the topic. Elizabeth Olsen has earned her success, but was also patient enough to wait until she was ready to handle the fame that comes with it. It's a trait that separates her from the character she plays on screen.
I feel patience is my superpower,
She says.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
And Jeannie.
We're going to play a game called Word Drop, where each of us has 3 words or phrases on these cards that we haven't looked at yet, and we're going to try to work it into a conversation as casually as possible. So I will go first.
Okay.
Okay, this is... All right. When I used to be in elementary school, I hated being in class because I just don't like to study and I don't like anything to do with school. So I would always love it whenever we had those fake fire drills, you know, when like they want to make sure that kids know where to go if there's a fire alarm. So then whenever they did that, I would still, you know, it's a fire alarm, we have to practice, so I would still pretend to panic to make it more believable.
I thought during fire drills you weren't supposed to panic. I think the idea is that for fire drills you're supposed to remain calm, right? So that if there's a real fire, you know, okay, everyone walk out and calmly not get hurt. but it's okay. We did have fire drills about once a month. I think it was usually. But one time we always, when you heard the fire alarm, we always assumed it was real. But one time it was actually, or we assumed it was a drill, but actually one time it was real because someone accidentally set off the fire alarm.
Ooh, that sounds like something I would do because I like to make things very dramatic. I'm constantly like imagining that I am in a play and that I am doing things to make people react because that's what actors do. We like to make people react. And we always imagine that there is an actual audience around us, no matter what we do.
I think that's kind of nice. It makes it feel like all your actions matter, right?
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
But I think with being an actor, I think actors must have there's a lot of skills to being an actor, right? You have to have a great imagination, and also I think you should have a lot of patience to be an actor.
That is absolutely correct. You do need to have a lot of patience. And you also need a lot of opportunities and you need a lot of resources. So that's why I always find ways to make natural things in my life dramatic, because then I don't have to worry about the money aspect because I don't need to worry about a budget. So I can just be an actor anywhere.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I think because worrying about money really makes work really stressful, right? Yeah. So I think it's good if you can separate those two things in your life. Separate money and work.
Yeah. Money issues suck. I want to be an actor who doesn't worry about things. Yeah.
I believe in you.
See you next time.